I just recently made a video about Xbox possibly going third party and should you care. And I'll still stand by that. You should not care. In the scheme of things, you shouldn't care. But if you're a collector, this is a niche side of the whole third party thing. If you're a collector, you might want to get into this immediately. You also have to understand that Xbox going third party is pretty much going to be diminishing a lot of physical copies of games, especially when it comes to their side of the aisle, as far as their games coming out on whatever console they come out with. This is a time you may want to start thinking about getting into collecting a lot of Xbox stuff. Preferably the Xbox Series X and possibly maybe a Series S console. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised it's not in this picture. It's not actually pictured. That's kind of weird, but nevertheless, you want to get into this. If you want physical copies of stuff, do your due diligence and get into collecting this stuff. And the reason why I say this is because I don't think Xbox is really going to be in the business of making consoles for disc in the next generation at the very least. I think they're going to go all digital. I think they're going to go all third party. And my gut feeling is that they're just going to make it a way where you can buy a box to play Xbox games, but they will put all their games on other platforms. And I would not be surprised if those platforms don't have don't have physical copies of their games. This is a dire time for the Xbox brand. Yes, I said this earlier, don't care about this because everybody gets to play the games, but everybody's not a collector. And if you're a collector, if you are a collector, you may want to get into this ASAP. Start early. If you love the 360, get a couple of consoles because they're pretty cheap now. I've seen 360s going for like $60 now. Go get you an Xbox One. I've seen those go for maybe $100, $120 now. The Xbox Series is still going to be a little bit pricey. You can get an Xbox One X probably around $200. These I'm not even looking at the prices just off the top of my head. But you may want to go and try to get one of these things. Go ahead and get them. Because as of right now, Xbox is pretty much showing their hand and telling you that they're about to be out of the business of all of this. Gears, Forza, possibly Halo, all that's going to be going to another, console. And those releases may not be physical. They may not. Now, I think they will, but there's a high possibility they won't. You also have to understand that Xbox just got rid of their, I think it was like their physical copy or physical media department or something like that. They got rid of those guys. So the writing is on the wall. I mean, when you start seeing the Xbox Series X digital version and they're starting to boost up the digital versions of the Xbox Series S, you may want to start putting in work to actually get some of this stuff. Now, for me, I like Xbox. I like all the consoles, but the original Xbox is my thing. I mean, I love the original Xbox, but if it's up to me, I will probably end up getting a Series X. I do have an Xbox One X. I have one of those, and that suffices for me as far as a 4K console. It works pretty well. I can still put disc in there. The 360 games that are backwards compatible, they work. Original Xbox games that are backwards compatible, they work. And it's a pretty good deal. But for collection purposes, I'm probably going to go ahead and get a Series X. I'm not really too big on getting digital consoles. I have no use for those for the most part. I would rather have a console with a disc drive. So I have an Xbox One, I have a 360, I have an Xbox One X, and I'm probably going to jump and get a Series X sometime soon. Like I said, for my advisory, if you want my advice, if you're into collecting, you might want to jump on this now. I've been saying this for about a year or so now. The 360 is the console to jump on. That if you want to buy games for that console, that right now you're probably not going to get them as cheaper as they want. I've seen places where some of these games are like $3. I'm talking about heavy hitter 360 games are like $3. Those games are going to shoot up in price. Did you just not see Spec Ops: The Line? Spec Ops: The Line, I'm hearing rumors now the game is almost $300 on eBay. And me as a collector, I feel like I'm missing out on that. I'm gonna wait till that price dips down, where the people that are FOMOing or fear of missing out on that game, once that died out, I'm gonna come back and get my Xbox. Well, I'll probably get my Xbox 360 copy of that. I thought about getting the PS3 version again. I might get both, but I'm kind of leaning toward the 360 version of it because I've heard that it runs a little better, but that's another story for another day. But the 360 might be where you want to start off at. Now the Xbox One games, they are backwards compatible with the Series X. And I don't think there's too many Series X games, like Series X, like, exclusive games. So pretty much every game that's on the Series X can play with Xbox One. So there's going to come a time, I'm going to be honest with you, I think the Xbox One games are probably going to be a little bit more sought after down the road years later. And you may want to jump on that because you also have to understand the Xbox One did not sell as much as, like these other consoles did in the 7th generation. And in some cases, the current, the 8th generation, so they just didn't sell that well. So with that being said, a lot of games may not have been, produced, and Xbox has already been going to a digital, platform itself, or just trying to be all digital. So it wasn't that many copies of games that are actually put out there, not like they normally would. So there's going to be some games on the Xbox One that are sought after, and some of those games may not need like super duper patches to play. So this is something that you may want to look into. Does it suck? Yes. Should you care? In the scheme of things, I still stand by that. No, you shouldn't care about this because this is just the way that the industry is going. Games are not always going to be on a disc. They may make a comeback like vinyls one day, maybe like in 2040. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I just don't. I am preparing for an all digital future. Do I want it to be that way? No, but I've kind of fell back and like, you know what? If they want to do this to themselves, let them do it. You can sit there and fight the good fight all you want, and in some cases you don't have to support it because I don't support digital copies of games for the most part. I just play with my wallet. I just talk with my wallet. I don't buy too many digital games. So with that being said, that's the best way you can do to combat it. But for the most part, the Xbox already, Microsoft already got their mind made up. And if you don't like it, don't participate. That's the only thing I would say. This is why I made this video the way it is. Go get every physical copy that you want. Don't buy all of them. I don't understand how people try to get a whole collection, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Buy the games you want that are physical and keep those games. Keep those games for your enjoyment. It feels so good to go into my original Xbox or my 360, PS3, PlayStation 2, any going all the way back to the NES. It feels good going back to those games and popping in the game and just playing it, knowing that there's nothing being compromised. Even if you have all the patches to the game, the patches are on your hard drive. You got to be a fool to erase your hard drive and lose your patches because, that's another story. You shouldn't do that. But even if some of these games just play without them, as gimpy as some of these games are, some of them aren't, I would say a handful of them are not that bad in their 1.0 state. Yes, you're going to have a little glitch here, a little bug here, but for the most part, you'll be able to finish most of the games from start to finish, especially in the 360 era. So, that's the beauty of having your own games. And I just feel at the end of the day, if you're a collector, even if you're not really interested in Xbox like that, if you're not really interested in it, you should just make a concerted effort, if you like gaming, just to, take one of these consoles, whether it be the original Xbox to the Series X, take one of these consoles that take physical media and hold on to it and play them and enjoy it. because at some point these games aren't going to be available in this form. I feel it. I think Nintendo is onto something with their little SD cards for the Switch. Maybe Xbox will come out with something like that. Maybe PlayStation will come out with something like that. But as far as disc based, with these games looking like this, let me see. I'm gonna pull this game out because this game is awesome. This right here, Silent Hill 2 for the original. And I got the Platinum Hits version because I thought this looks really great the way it is. You know, I could get the other version, but they're kind of expensive now. But to get a game that's like this in this fashion with the, you know, it's probably a lost cause. I wonder if there's a Platinum Hits instruction manual, or did they just throw this in here? I'm kind of curious about that. But nevertheless, it's not going to be like this anymore. It's bad enough we don't even get instruction manuals. You see what I'm saying? I think the Switch does it to some extent, but this is something to cherish and hold on to until you get ready to sell it off when you get older. You don't want this stuff anymore, or you give it to a museum or whatever. You know, it's something that's really valuable in stuff like this. It's something very valuable about this type of stuff. So in other words, I'm gonna get out of here. Let me know what you guys think. Yes, it sucks. Should you care about them doing this? I'm gonna be honest, no, because you're fighting a losing cause. Xbox is gonna do this anyway. I expect other companies to do this as well. But what you can do from a collector's perspective, get some of these consoles. You know, if you like collecting for this stuff, or, you know, even if you may be on the fence or interested, collect some of the stuff and get some of this stuff. You'll be able to, at the very least, you'll probably be able to flip it and make a little bit of a profit. And all the while, you can play them and enjoy them for what it's worth. I think I said enough. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, and if you agree, great. If you disagree, please let me know. And I'm gonna get up out of here. All right, y'all. I'm out. Good night. Peace.